Eating fruit has always been seen as one of the simplest, most natural things you can do for your health. But over 2 decades of clinical experience and mounting scientific evidence have shown me that not all fruit works in your favor, especially after 60. One study that perfectly illustrates this was published in 2022 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Researchers found that older adults with high intake of fructose-heavy fruits showed greater signs of inflammation, insulin resistance, and muscle decline, even when the rest of their diet looked healthy on paper. It confirmed what I had already seen in real life again and again. Many seniors unknowingly choose fruits that spike blood sugar, aggravate joint pain, or interfere with medications, all while thinking they're helping their bodies. The sad truth is, the damage builds slowly. By the time symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, or weakness appear, it's often too late to connect them back to healthy fruit choices made every day. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 fruits that may be quietly wearing your body down, and 4 you can count on to support strength, clarity, and healthy aging. Because one innocent-looking fruit could be turning your breakfast into a metabolic time bomb, and you deserve to know exactly which one it is. Let's begin with one of the most common fruits in every senior's kitchen, the banana. And not just any banana. I'm talking about the overripe, soft-spotted kind that many people believe is gentle on the stomach and good for digestion. I once worked with a patient named Helen, 68 years old. She was sharp, active, and believed she was eating healthfully. She started her day with a slice of toast and a very ripe banana every morning without fail. But over time, she noticed some strange things. Her energy dropped in the late morning. She started experiencing lightheadedness when she stood up. Her blood pressure became unpredictable, sometimes high, sometimes too low, and her legs felt weak, especially when walking uphill. When we looked at her food journal, I immediately spotted the pattern. Ripe bananas, especially those with brown spots, are sugar bombs in disguise. As bananas ripen, their complex starches break down into simple sugars like glucose, fructose, and sucrose. That's why an overripe banana tastes much sweeter than a firm, just yellow one. But here's the catch. That sweetness comes at a cost. A single overripe banana can deliver up to 17 grams of sugar with a glycemic index nearing 75. That's almost the same blood sugar impact as a small can of soda. And it hits fast, especially in the absence of protein or fiber. For someone over 60 whose insulin sensitivity may already be reduced, this rapid spike can set off a cascade, a sugar high followed by a crash, then cravings, then fatigue. But that's not the only issue. Bananas are also famously high in potassium. While potassium is essential for heart and muscle function, too much at once, especially when combined with blood pressure medications or kidney impairment, can lead to irregular heartbeat, tingling in the limbs, or even muscle paralysis in rare cases. In Helen's case, her daily banana habit was quietly stressing her blood vessels and her energy regulation. When she swapped her banana for a handful of blueberries and a slice of whole grain toast with almond butter, her energy stabilized. Her legs felt stronger. Her morning headaches disappeared. Bananas aren't inherently bad, but the timing, ripeness, and context matter immensely. And if you're eating a very ripe one first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you may be setting yourself up for weakness, fatigue, and blood sugar instability that lasts all day. Next up are grapes, and their dried version, raisins. They're often called nature's candy, and that's exactly the problem. Most people see grapes as a light, safe snack. Few realize how quickly they flood the bloodstream with sugar, especially in older adults, whose insulin response is often already compromised. Let me tell you about David, a 73-year-old retired engineer. He came to see me after struggling with morning fatigue, brain fog, and elevated fasting blood glucose. His diet looked decent: vegetables, lean protein, and fruit for dessert. But one detail stood out. He kept a bowl of raisins by his bed and ate a handful every night before sleep to calm his stomach. It turns out that small handful was delivering up to 20 grams of sugar, mostly in the form of concentrated fructose. Let's break this down. A cup of grapes contains about 15 to 20 grams of sugar, depending on the variety. That sugar is mostly glucose and fructose, two forms that absorb rapidly and trigger insulin release. But when you remove the water and dry grapes into raisins, the sugars become more concentrated, meaning just 2 tablespoons of raisins can contain as much sugar as 3 teaspoons of white sugar. For someone like David, that small nightly snack was enough to spike blood sugar right before sleep, then crash by morning, leaving him tired, sluggish, and at greater risk for insulin resistance. And that's not all. High fructose intake over time has been linked to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, increased belly fat, and accelerated breakdown of collagen, all of which are deeply concerning in older adults trying to preserve strength and mobility. Even worse, grapes and raisins have a very high glycemic load. That means they don't just raise your blood sugar briefly, they keep it elevated, putting stress on your pancreas and liver for hours. What about fiber? While grapes do contain some fiber, it's not enough to offset the sugar load, especially in raisins, where much of the fiber is lost in processing. Now, grapes aren't toxic. They contain antioxidants like resveratrol, but the dosage needed for those benefits is much higher than what you'd get from casual snacking. And for most seniors, the blood sugar spike outweighs the antioxidant gain. David's solution? He switched to a few slices of apple with cinnamon and a sprinkle of walnuts before bed. His morning energy improved, his glucose stabilized, and his nighttime bloating disappeared. If you're over 60 and regularly snacking on grapes or raisins, especially alone without fat or fiber, you could be unknowingly sabotaging your blood sugar, your joints, and your energy. Let's move on to pineapple, a fruit that's often praised for its tropical flavor and natural enzymes. But for older adults, it can do more harm than good. Pineapple is naturally high in sugar and acid. A single cup of chopped pineapple delivers over 16 grams of sugar, mostly as fructose and glucose. The glycemic index? Roughly 66. That's high enough to spike blood sugar fast, especially if eaten alone or on an empty stomach. Then there's the acidity. Pineapple contains a group of enzymes called bromelain. While this enzyme can aid digestion in small doses, it's also known to irritate the stomach lining, especially in sensitive individuals. And for seniors with gastritis, acid reflux, or arthritis, it can make symptoms worse. I remember working with Maria, a 70-year-old who enjoyed pineapple slices after dinner. She believed it helped with digestion, and she liked the sweet finish to her meal. But over several months, she began to notice more frequent joint pain, especially in her knees and wrists. She also complained of mild heartburn and bloating that disrupted her sleep. At first, she didn't make the connection. Pineapple was fruit. It was supposed to be healthy. But here's what was happening. The sugar in pineapple was spiking her blood glucose late at night, then dropping quickly. That swing triggered inflammation, stiffness, and overnight cortisol release, which disrupted her sleep and worsened her morning pain. At the same time, the acidity of the fruit was stressing her stomach, weakening her digestion, and causing low-level irritation. The result? Increased inflammation, poor sleep quality, and more painful joints. Maria replaced the pineapple with a few slices of pear and almond butter, a naturally sweet and low-acid option. And within 2 weeks, her sleep improved and her joints felt noticeably less stiff. The takeaway is simple. Pineapple isn't bad in small amounts, but for older adults with sensitive digestion, unstable blood sugar, or chronic joint pain, it can be a trigger food. If you love pineapple, limit it to small portions, eat it with protein or healthy fat, and avoid it at night when your body needs stability, not sugar swings. Because even something as sunny and sweet as a slice of pineapple can create a ripple effect in the body, one that quietly drains your strength over time. Now let's talk about one of the most dangerous fruits for people taking medications, grapefruit. It might surprise you, but this fruit has a long, well-documented history of interacting with prescription drugs. In fact, over 80 commonly used medications, including those for blood pressure, cholesterol, heart rhythm, and anxiety, can be affected by grapefruit. Why? Grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins. These naturally occurring chemicals block an important enzyme in your digestive system called CYP3A4. This enzyme helps break down many medications in the liver. When you block CYP3A4, your body can't process the drug properly. That means the medication stays in your bloodstream longer and at higher concentrations than your doctor intended. It's like taking 2 or 3 doses at once, without knowing it. I once worked with Paul, a 66-year-old retired teacher managing high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol. He had recently switched to a healthier diet and was proud to start each day with a glass of fresh grapefruit juice. But soon he began feeling dizzy, fatigued, and had episodes of irregular heartbeat. He assumed it was just stress or aging. What we discovered was more serious. His morning grapefruit juice was amplifying the effect of his statin and calcium channel blocker, causing toxic levels of both medications in his system. Even though he never changed his dose, the fruit was changing the way his body processed the drugs. This isn't rare. Even small amounts of grapefruit or a single glass of juice can interfere with drug metabolism for up to 72 hours. That means one serving on Monday can still affect a pill you take on Wednesday. And here's the problem. Most people have no idea. They feel faint, get muscle pain, or have unexpected side effects and assume it's just their body aging, not realizing it's the fruit. If you're taking medications for your heart, your cholesterol, or even anxiety or sleep, it's essential to talk with your doctor before consuming grapefruit in any form. Safer alternatives: try oranges, kiwis, or apples, all of which offer vitamin C and fiber without affecting your medications. Because while grapefruit may look fresh and cleansing, it can be a silent disruptor, changing the way life-saving medications work in your body. And after 60, that's a risk no one should take lightly. Now, after warning you about the fruits that can quietly work against your health, let's shift to the ones that can work with your body, nourishing your muscles, protecting your brain, and supporting the systems that matter most as you age. The first one may be small, but its impact is enormous. I'm talking about blueberries. These tiny, deep purple berries have earned their reputation as a superfood, and for good reason. They're packed with a powerful group of antioxidants called anthocyanins. These compounds don't just fight off free radicals. They improve blood flow to the brain, reduce inflammation, and support healthy communication between nerve cells. A 2021 study published in the journal Nutrients found that adults over 60 who consumed 1 cup of blueberries per day for 12 weeks showed measurable improvements in memory, processing speed, and blood pressure, compared to those who didn't. That's just 1 cup a day. I remember meeting Nancy, a 72-year-old who complained of foggy thinking and poor balance in the mornings. She wasn't taking any new medications. Her diet seemed mostly balanced, but she wasn't eating many berries. We started small, half a cup of blueberries with breakfast, 3 to 4 times a week. In just 2 weeks, she reported sharper mornings, less forgetfulness, more confidence walking outdoors. Her blood pressure dropped slightly. Her digestion improved too. Blueberries support the brain, but they also help the heart. Their fiber content helps regulate blood sugar, preventing the highs and lows that drain energy and mood. And the anthocyanins they contain have been shown to relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and lower oxidative stress, a key driver of aging in arteries. Unlike some fruits, blueberries have a low glycemic index. They don't spike blood sugar rapidly, which makes them ideal for seniors managing insulin sensitivity or weight. Plus, they're easy to use. You can sprinkle them over oatmeal, blend into a smoothie, or simply eat them by the handful. They freeze well and retain most of their nutrients even after months in the freezer. If fresh berries are out of season, frozen is just fine. Just skip the sweetened varieties. A quick tip: pair blueberries with a small handful of nuts or some Greek yogurt to enhance absorption of their fat-soluble antioxidants. The bottom line? Blueberries are small but mighty. They support memory, stabilize blood sugar, soothe inflammation, and protect your heart, all in a fruit the size of your fingertip. If you're going to make space for just one fruit in your daily routine, this might be the one to start with. If blueberries are the brain's ally, then pomegranate is your blood's best friend. This deep red fruit, bursting with tart sweet juice, has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. But now modern science is catching up, and what it reveals is remarkable for aging bodies. Pomegranates are rich in polyphenols, a class of powerful antioxidants known to protect blood vessels, enhance nitric oxide production, and reduce systemic inflammation. All of these factors are vital to maintaining circulation, muscle strength, and even hormone balance as you age. A landmark study published in Clinical Nutrition found that daily pomegranate juice consumption improved blood flow, reduced arterial plaque buildup, and lowered markers of oxidative stress in older adults within just 12 weeks. It's not just about heart health. Pomegranate also supports testosterone levels in men and estrogen balance in women, which can influence mood, bone density, and energy after 60. I once worked with Tom, a 70-year-old former runner who felt increasingly stiff and tired. He wasn't overweight, his diet seemed clean, but he complained of slower recovery after exercise and lower motivation overall. After reviewing his routine, we added a simple change: half a cup of pomegranate juice in the morning with breakfast. 6 weeks later, Tom was walking longer distances. His legs felt lighter. His blood pressure readings improved. And surprisingly, his outlook brightened. He felt more engaged, less foggy. That's the power of restoring circulation and lowering chronic inflammation. One overlooked benefit? Pomegranate has natural anti-arthritic properties. Its compounds block enzymes that contribute to joint breakdown, making it especially valuable for those with osteoarthritis. It also contains punicalagins, rare antioxidants found almost exclusively in pomegranate, that help protect the lining of blood vessels and the health of the heart muscle itself. Unlike many fruit juices, pomegranate juice is relatively low in sugar per ounce, especially if you choose the unsweetened kind or dilute it slightly with water or sparkling mineral water. You can also enjoy the seeds directly. Sprinkle them on a salad, mix into yogurt, or add them to warm grains like quinoa. The bright red seeds don't just add color, they deliver nutrients that shield your heart, enhance your endurance, and protect your hormones. If your goal is to stay active, mentally clear, and hormonally balanced, pomegranate might just be the fruit your body has been waiting for. Few fruits are as familiar or as underestimated as apples. You see them in every grocery store, offered in hospitals and nursing homes, often labeled as basic. But for older adults, an apple a day might truly help keep more than just the doctor away. Apples are rich in soluble fiber, vitamin C, polyphenols, and quercetin, all of which work together to stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support digestion. A 2020 study from the Journal of Nutrition and Aging found that older adults who consume one medium apple daily had better cholesterol profiles, more stable blood pressure, and reduced risk of metabolic syndrome over 6 months, even without changing anything else in their diet. And that's not surprising. The fiber in apples, especially pectin, helps slow down the absorption of sugar in your bloodstream. That makes apples one of the safest fruits for people managing diabetes or insulin resistance. They also nourish gut bacteria, which in turn affects immunity, energy levels, and even mood, a crucial factor in aging well. I remember Joan, a 75-year-old who had trouble with frequent bloating and irregular digestion. She avoided fruit altogether because she thought it made her symptoms worse. We started her with a single apple a day, sliced with almond butter or a few walnuts. Within 2 weeks, her bloating decreased, her digestion regulated, and almost unexpectedly, she said she felt more even throughout the day, less anxious, fewer mood dips. That's the stabilizing power of apples. But there's more. Quercetin found in the skin of apples is a natural anti-inflammatory flavonoid. Studies suggest it may help protect brain cells from oxidative stress, improve lung function, and reduce the progression of age-related muscle loss. This is why it's crucial to choose organic apples and eat them with the skin on. That's where most of the fiber and antioxidant value lives. And don't be afraid to rotate between varieties. Granny Smiths are lower in sugar and have a sharper taste. Great for blood sugar balance. Honey Crisps or Fujis are sweeter, but still balanced by fiber if eaten whole. Try slicing one into oatmeal, adding to salads, or just keeping one in your bag for a snack on the go. Apples aren't trendy, they don't come with exotic names, but for aging bodies they offer reliable, steady nourishment that protects the heart, supports digestion, and keeps the body in rhythm. If you've overlooked apples lately, it might be time to rediscover their quiet strength. After apples, let's turn to a fruit that's richer, creamier, and often misunderstood. Avocado, yes, it's a fruit. Not sweet like most, but nutritionally, it plays a powerful role in the aging process, especially when it comes to inflammation, hormone balance, and heart health. Unlike other fruits, avocados are low in sugar and high in monounsaturated fats, the same heart-healthy fats found in olive oil. These fats help lower bad cholesterol, raise good cholesterol, and reduce the inflammation that drives joint pain and heart disease. But that's just the beginning. Avocados are packed with potassium, magnesium, vitamin E, B vitamins, and lutein. Each of these plays a role in preserving muscle strength, eye health, and nerve function, all of which tend to decline after 60. A 2019 study published in the journal Nutrients found that older adults who consumed avocado regularly had better cognitive scores, lower markers of inflammation, and more stable blood lipid profiles, even when compared to other healthy eaters. One of my patients, Roberta, was 67 when she came to see me. She had high blood pressure, joint pain in her hips, and was trying to lose weight. She had avoided avocados for years because she'd heard they were too fatty. But when we reviewed her meals, she was missing something critical: healthy fat. Without it, she wasn't absorbing key fat-soluble vitamins, especially A, D, E, and K, and her energy was unstable throughout the day. We made one small change. She began adding half an avocado to her morning toast, or mashing it with lemon, and spreading it on a slice of sprouted grain bread. 3 weeks later, her joint pain was down. She said she felt fuller, not foggy, between meals. Her doctor reduced her blood pressure medication. And best of all, she no longer feared fat. What many people don't realize is that healthy fats are essential for hormone production. In both men and women, low-fat diets after 60 can accelerate loss of muscle mass, decrease testosterone or estrogen balance, and reduce energy. Avocados help correct that. Their potassium content also supports heart rhythm and muscle function, offering more than double the potassium of a banana without the sugar spike. They're also incredibly versatile. Add slices to salads, blend into smoothies, spread on toast, or even spoon it right from the skin with a pinch of sea salt. One important tip: watch portion sizes. Avocados are dense. Half an avocado is plenty for most meals. And always choose ripe fruit with a slightly soft skin that yields to gentle pressure. A small warning: some people with latex sensitivity may also react to avocado. So if you've had that issue, proceed carefully. But for the vast majority of older adults, adding avocado regularly can improve nutrient absorption, calm inflammation, support hormonal balance, and stabilize appetite. It's not flashy or exotic, but avocado is one of the most strategic fruits you can add to your plate after 60. Sometimes the best medicine isn't in a bottle, but in a perfectly ripe fruit with soft green flesh and more power than it lets on. Let's step back for a moment. You've just seen how even the healthiest looking fruits can have hidden effects, some helpful, some harmful. Bananas, grapes, pineapple, and grapefruit might be natural, but they can spike blood sugar, interfere with medications, or worsen inflammation without warning. Meanwhile, blueberries, pomegranate, apples, and avocado do the opposite. They stabilize energy, protect memory, support joints, and nourish circulation. And that's the message I want you to remember. After 60, there's no such thing as a neutral food. Everything you eat either builds you up or breaks you down, a little at a time, meal after meal. But you're not powerless. You don't need a complicated diet. You just need clarity and a few smart swaps. So look at your fruit bowl. Is what's in there helping you stay strong, sharp, mobile? If not, today is the perfect time to begin changing that. Start small. Replace that evening raisin snack with a few blueberries. Switch your breakfast banana for half an avocado. Or trade the pineapple for apple slices and cinnamon. Simple changes added up. Because when you eat with purpose, you age with power. If this helped you, take a second to comment with the fruit you plan to eat more or less of this week. You might inspire someone else to take the first step. And if you want more science-backed, straightforward health guidance made for your stage of life, tap like and subscribe. You don't have to do everything. Just start with one fruit and let that small choice lead to a stronger tomorrow.